Stop it. Okay. Hi, my name is John Limcool. This is the PlugInGuru channel. A week from tomorrow, something kind of cool is happening. This is coming out. This is MegaMagic Dreams. Actually, it's MegaMagic Dreams. I keep getting confused. It's really bad marketing to use the same acronyms and everything as your previous library. But I did. Oh well. I need to fire my marketing team, which is me. So you're actually listening to this in the ESX24 version right now. It's also going to be coming out for Contact 5. And this version will be a little bit more money because it comes with a really nice little interface. So if I make this go away. So if I'm up here on this and I say, I need to actually get my browser back up so I can go guitar. I find this version is going to sound just a little bit better because I can use the EQ. Contact 5 sample playback engine is just boss. It's truly great. And so that's those two versions. And it's also coming out next week for Serum. Yay! It's not done yet, so I have more work to do. This is how far I've gotten so far. But if we say Dream Piano, we can say there on Serum. We go to the ESX24. And I gotta make sure I'm the right ESX24. In a minute, I'm gonna show you how I made these. So I'm being kind of careful what I select. If I go keyboards to Dream Piano. And finally, Contact 5. Browser open again, please. Go to the keyboard. I have them in categories, trying to make things a little easier to. So it's not a. Although, as you noticed, for Serum, it will be a list. And okay, how did I make these? What was the concept? So I love long, expansive, beautiful, going everywhere around you, surrounding you with this just blanket of reverb. And when you usually use reverb like that on a sound like this, one sound is cool. But if there's more than one sound, I'm going to speak for a minute and it's going to become really difficult to understand what I'm saying. So I had a concept of putting the reverb into the sound so that the envelopes and the elements of the sound control the reverb. So you can actually envelope the reverb out. You can filter it so it's dark after a certain amount of time. You can do all sorts of fun things with it. This is kind of a follow-up idea to what I did for MegaMagic Drums. If you guys own MegaMagic Drums, there's a new version coming out. When this comes out, that won't show up on the library tab, but it's going to be a lot cheaper. I love it on the library tab. It requires a serial number. I have to pay for that, so it's more expensive. I'm going to make a version that doesn't require a serial number, so it shows up over here like MegaMagic Dreams under Files. So just so you know, a new version's coming out for those of you that want it, that it's a little expensive and you want it to be cheaper. So I took all these kits, like Anabox, right? So if I drag this over here, it's all these drum samples, 61 of them across the keyboard. They follow a kind of a funky general MIDI map from this C above, low C up, and below that are a whole bunch of different kicks and different snares. I have a whole bunch of videos showing this. So I'm not going to get into deep detail. But the one thing I want to show you is that for 6 of these kits, I went in and I made what I called shadows, which is 13-second reverb versions of these sounds. So if you go over here into the drums and you say Anabox, and we got to change it to MIDI channel 1. I can turn on the reverb. I can control this reverb. Put a PTG on it. If I want to. There's so much you can do with it, with the independent reverb that is a sample. And so I took that idea and just kind of ran with it with like, what if you could do this and what if you could do that? And I want it to be in a keyboard playable version instead of drums. So that's what started out, and now it's really replace this. Yes, is reverb just rings. It's beautiful. When you take your sustain pedal off and stuff, it goes away, and you can play. So you control the reverb. This huge reverb is there when you want it, but it's kind of tucked away. Now if I go over here and I turn the reverb on and I play that kind of stuff, it just gets muddy. Right? It's like unusable. So I thought this was really cool. It's something I haven't really seen another library like, using the reverb as part of the sound. The other thing that's cool is that when the reverb is a long ringing, like say this note, I can play an octave and a half higher, and because the reverb is so long, it has this nice body, because there's this like 12-second long reverb. So I've made a whole bunch of stuff. Actually, Toby Pittman that worked on the Brake Tweaker, Power Pack, MegaMagic Brake Tweaker. He made some really cool stuff using a CS60. So there's all these wonderful to enhance the library and add additional things. I'm so happy. I asked him to do some patches. I'm hoping to release also a signature folder right here for the Contact version, and we're going to go program crazy on the Omnisphere 2 version. The ESX24 and the Serum are going to be pretty much just the samples. I've programmed very carefully to make sure that I have all sorts of nice expressivity by velocity. So when you come to the guitar patches, when you play soft, it's not, if you play that with, so I'm using the filter. I have filter to the velocity. So you got all sorts of stuff to. But how did I make these? Will you show your secret, Skippy? Show me how you did this, man, because I think I can do it too. And you can. So I'll show you. So let's make this all go away. So that's my little promo for what's coming up. MegaMagic Dreams. I'm going to use the default sine wave from the ESX24. When you go over here and you say, not edit, but you go over here and I think you say, recall the default. So, okay, because I want to make like a cool electric piano, and I also want to make like a cool bass. I'm going to make 2 sounds. I've kind of sussed this out ahead of time, so I know what I'm doing. I'm not leading you blindly down the road on this one. So we're going to bring up the release, because part of the trick to getting those reverbs to really sound nice and natural is at the end of the sound kind of segues into the reverb. If it's abrupt, then there's going to be this abrupt moment in the reverb that gets carried out. That might be cool for some things, but that's not what I'm doing for this particular library. And I'm going to bring this up just a little bit to get rid of that DC click. Okay. Now I could turn on the filter, and there is distortion here. It's like I want to distort it in a cool way, but that wasn't sufficient for what I want. So I'm actually going to use, where is it? Pedalboard. Logic has this really cool pedal board with all these cool distorted boxes and stuff like that. So I'm going to take this to this. It's almost a guitar. Okay. And what I've done is I have, let's turn these off one at a time so you can hear what's going on. The 2-burner has a really cool squash. It's a built-in little cheap compressor. I could have more drive if I want, but I just want a little bit to color it. It's kind of electric piano, and it's, here's without squash. Check this out. It doesn't have really a nice shape. Should bring this up. Does a nice job of making this nice shape of an attack that kind of like fades out nicely. So I like that. Grit just gives it a little bit more body. I mean, I could go all super distorted, but okay. And then graphic EQ just adds a little bit more tone. You will not hear that on YouTube, I'm sure, but it is something you actually do hear. Then on top of this, I don't need to use that because I'm going to be using something else. So the trick I will show you now. I will unveil the reverb. Native Instruments RC48. This is a recreation of the Lexicon PCM 480, I believe is the model number. It's a wonderful reverb. I don't know how accurate it is. All I know is that when there's no dampening and you set it's basically the Lexicon reverbs, you have a reverb time for the low energy and a reverb time for the high energy and a crossover point to choose where it's at. And when you turn it on, it's just wonderful. I set it to random hall, and I set it to about 50%. And then I can play with these different times as far as to what this is and the high energy. I've got this at 13 seconds right now. So when I play this sound now, I've got it sequenced. So let's listen. Okay, so I need to do something. I want to make it sustain out when you... Should be about right. Let's try it now. I built this patch earlier and I forgot that I put a little envelope sustaining to 0. So the note holds for a long time. I don't want it to hold the note for a long time. I just want it to be a little burst of energy. And it's gone. From then on, it's reverb. So here we go. And I actually want to do something else. I had, and I need it back. Where is it from? I have unplugged all of these effects, by the way, because they are all wonderful. And don't crash on me. Don't you crash on me. There's a preset. I don't know if you can tell, but that brought up the body so that the body going into the reverb is a little more natural to enhance the sound a little bit. So I use a Fairchild. You can use another type of compressor, but some to compress and just round it out a little bit really helps. And then finally, I have Cambridge EQ. And the main thing I'm using here, I could have a little bit extra, like maybe 2 dB at about 10. But the main thing for this is the incredible surgical high-pass filter that you have all these different types, the Butterworth, the different dB per octaves. These really are wonderful. And listen carefully to the sound. This is what kind of makes some of the magic stuff that gets transposed across the keyboard is the low energy. It becomes this like transposing random nonlinear stuff. But I don't want a lot of it in there. I don't want all of this. See how it goes away? There, about 138. So 138 hertz and down, it's pretty much cut off. So at this point, I've got my cycle set up. I know my levels are pretty good. Let me check. I just want to beat down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to turn off my microphone and I'm going to bounce this real quick. Okay, I have one more sound to make. That's to add this. It's an octave down and... Sorry, I can't talk in a 12-second reverb for very long before I go insane. So this is the same sound, but along with this, I'm adding... And the way distortion works, lower energy, bigger energy is going to consume the upper energy, and you end up with a really cool bass sound. Now to make this work really well, I'm going to turn off the Cambridge. Actually, I'll leave on the Cambridge, but I'm going to take off the low pass, and I had a little boost. Let's bring this down to like... That'd be great. So let's try it. I'm feeling very random. So I'm just going to hit the button and bounce this. Ta-da! Okay, so let's turn these guys off, and I'm actually gonna remove this so that my latency goes away because that drives me nuts. Okay, we're done with Logic for the moment. If I come over here and hit spacebar on these, there's the piano one. Oh, it distorted just a little bit somewhere. Let's go back here, play it one more time. Oh, I lost my... Maybe for the bass I don't need the compressor. Let's listen real quick to see. Kick this back on. Oh, I can lower down the low EQ because that's probably what's hitting it. Yeah, it's still distorting. Ah, it's right here. Universal audio. Precision limiter. There. This precision limiter is incredible because it does a really nice job. If something is distorting and overdriven, it actually, you can lower it, smooth it out. You don't hear any distortion. I'm going to bring it up a little louder so it actually enhances it because this is the bass and I want it to be a really solid tone. So let's just enhance that by about 2.5, 3 dB. Okay. I'm watching my levels. I want it to be just right. Let's try it. So let's go bounce. Turn off my microphone. And voila. It's done. Okay, listen to the bass. No distortion. Sounds nice. So the next thing I need to do is finalize these, which is using a sample editor. I use DSP Quattro. Here's the bass. And if I hit G, Command G, yeah, there's not much to normalize because it was fairly well normalized. So I'm going to zoom in. I need to get rid of all this blank space, right? So hold on, shift and drag. Okay. Now, as you can see, it keeps going even after however long this is. So I'm going to do a fade out. Now there's some different techniques for fading out samples. I do this. I like to fade out once about halfway into the sound, and then I'll fade out once more about right here. That makes it have a little bit more natural yeah, and I can probably kill this much of the space. Great. Save. And let's look at the electric piano. And it also, as you can see, has all this space. Look at that lovely attack. I like that attack. Once you've worked with samples a lot, you can read the samples. It's kind of like reading tea leaves or something, I guess. Let's go in here. And I'll hit Command G to normalize. And again, you can see it fades out. It almost gets to fading out. Let's try to just fade out this much. Yeah, that's sufficient. That's good. Save. All right, we're done. So now let's go back to Logic. I've got all the effects turned off so that I'm back to real time. I can go to the ESX24. Oh, come on, why aren't you showing me there? So let's close all these guys because we're not using them at this point. So I'm going to take an existing patch, 0 dB, so make sure I'm all good. Turn this off. There's nothing to read here. Okay, let's go edit. And right here on the name of the sample, you can click the little triangle and load a different sample. And if you hide unused audio files or hide used, I don't want to do that, but preview the file in the ESX instrument means you can go through the list. You can play all the samples. I'm just going to the desktop to see how these work. So let's go distorted, sine, piano. And I have a piano over here. So you change the key. This is the root note. So we're done. It's nice. Okay, now let's try the bass. So load sample. Oh yeah. So it's a sine wave. You can filter it down to be more just sine wave if you want, but it's got some stuff in it. And someone was asking about how to do this mapping with the K5. So don't save those yet. I'll save those on my own, but those will be in this library. The sounds that we're making right now, you know, I don't waste anything. So those will be in the library. So let's go to, I can't show you Ionosphere 2, but there it is. It's great. Okay. Let's load up guitar. We'll start with the DI Dreaming, because these are just single sample. Okay. Now if you hit this little toolbar, this opens up the editor, and all of my patches are saved this way. It remembers what windows are open and stuff, but I go through every patch. I close everything so it looks nice. And then you hit the little save, quick save right there. That saves you from having to go up here and close this, save as, and selecting. If you just have an instrument select, say you have like 10 instruments, if you just go to and open the wrench and you set up some things you want to save to it, just hit that and it'll overwrite it. So, okay. So we're going to open the mapping editor, right click and say exchange sample. You can also select from here, same thing, exchange sample, go to the desktop, and let's say distorted sine. And some nice things about Kontakt is that if you turn on the master little window, you have over here a built-in reference tone. So I can tell that my root is off. So I remember I played G. It says A. So you change this down to, and it's not quite in tune. So over here's your tune. And if you want to, you can change the pitch of this. Sometimes it's good to have it as be a bass. But don't blow up your audio because it's a sine wave. So this requires you to have sharp ears to tune. And you have to know about the harmonic reference between the different notes. So when you're playing D, play G. If you play notes around the tone, don't just, because it's sometimes really hard to tell that, but so that's pretty close to the final tuning I would set it at. So that is how you do things in Kontakt 5. Then you close this and go File, Save As, select this. I'm going to put these into their folders. Next week I will make another video showing where everything goes in a video. I get emails quite often from people trying to find out where their Omnisphere library folders are for Steam and all that kind of stuff, which will be a lot easier in the new version of Omnisphere coming out. But there's specific places for each of these libraries, and I've never released the same library in 3 different versions all at once. And so it's a big undertaking, and I'm up for the challenge. And it's really fun. I'm really happy how this has turned out. I hope this taught you something, gave you a gleaming what it takes to do this, and try it yourself. There's all sorts of great reverbs. I like the Lexicon. That's what gives it its dreams. I didn't want to, I have Altiverb, and they're all great. So future libraries might use different reverb, and there'll be different colors and so forth. So that's how we do it. All right. Hope you like this. Hope you learned something. And April 15th on, you can buy MegaMagic Dreams for Kontakt 5. Lesser expensive for ESX24 or for Serum, and the same price as the Kontakt Depends on how much programming is involved. I can't release the Omnisphere 2 one until after Omnisphere is out. And it's going to take a while to program stuff up on that. So, busy times. It's good times. All right. Hope you like this. I'll see you later. Bye.